Okay, we are live. We are live here today to talk about customizing applied digital skill lessons for second language learners. Just one moment here. We're going to showcase some of our resources. Oops, maybe not. Okay. I will share my screen really quick here. My name is Chris Bell. I'm with the EdTechTeam, and I'll introduce my guest for this evening. We're here on behalf of Grow with Google, supporting the Applied Digital Skills Program. So let me share this really quick here. Looks like, there we go. And, oh, let me stop that. And find my screen. Always is so much smoother when you're doing it pre-planning, but it doesn't always translate when you're doing it then. All right. Are you able to see my screen now? Or no? No, you're not. Now you can. There's my video. And let's see here. There we go. Right. Sorry about that, everybody. Thanks for your patience, Natalia.
That's fine.
Okay, there we go. All right. Are you able to see my slide deck now?
I'm able to see you.
You're able to see me. Where's my slides? Why isn't it showing up? Oh, that's terrible. That is terrible. You know, I know how to do these things. So now I'm gonna have to laugh. See, even for those of you that this is hilarious, especially because I was already testing it and showing it.
I know. We did.
Okay. All right, so why is it not allowing me? Stop. Okay, now you're seeing my webcam. Let's go live, present to everyone. I want to be able to share my screen, and it doesn't want to do it. Oh, there it goes. There we go. I guess you know what I was doing? I just realized it. I was using my Google Meet tactics. There we go. Now we're good.
Yes, now I can see it.
We are live, and that was fun. So here I am today, Chris Bell from EdTechTeam, and we're going to talk today about customizing applied digital skills lessons for second language learners in the classroom. Our resources link is at the bottom there. We'll show this several times throughout the webinar, but it's edtech.team/AppSkiAug18, AppSkiAug18. It's brought to you on behalf of the Grow with Google program. Google is a partner of EdTechTeams. We provide professional development services on behalf of Google across the country and work with schools and districts to support technology integration. I am the Chief Operating Officer based here in the United States, specifically Irvine, California. My Twitter handle is @cbell619, so hit me up on Twitter. Today I have Natalia Lemoyne from Guilderland, New York. She is a coordinator of educational technology. You can reach her at her Twitter handle there. I will butcher it as soon as I say it. So I apologize for that. And once again, we have our resources link below. That'll take you to this slide deck, and you can follow along. There are also links spread out throughout it. We've got a form for you to fill out your name and email address, and you can win an online course from EdTechTeam as part of this webinar. Today, we're going to be talking about what applied digital skills is. Then I'm going to hand it on over to Natalia so she can share with you some strategies on using these resources with second language learners. And then we'll talk about how to get started with applied digital skills. So once again, session resources at this URL. Complete the form, which is linked throughout this session resources, and you'll be able to enter to win the contest. So What is Applied Digital Skills? Well, Applied Digital Skills is a free curriculum from Google designed to prepare students of all ages, and specifically middle school all the way to adult learners, um, designed to prepare them for the growing number of jobs that require basic digital skills. And the skills range from being an entrepreneur to an admin assistant all the way up to someone who works in the tech industry. We all need different and varying skills, and this curriculum is designed to address those needs. So as students are working on the curriculum, it is built around projects. So projects where they design a dream vacation and learn spreadsheet formulas at the same time, producing a blockbuster movie while also learning how to format documents, how to learn quality graphic design and some of the basics of style, and editing a piece of writing using student-written programming code. So basically learning to write some app scripts. So that's a pretty fantastic opportunity for students to write and also have an opportunity to code. As I mentioned, it's project-based learning. The video curriculum is designed to be self-paced so that students can go slower, go faster, pause, rewind, do the things that they need to do in order to learn best. There's over 120 hours of lessons, and those lessons are absolutely being added to. So we're seeing more and more content being rolled out continuously throughout the units. And there is really a fit for every class or subject area. I mentioned before that it's designed for middle school through high school, but it can go into elementary as well. And we've got lots of great examples of elementary schools and elementary classrooms that are utilizing the curriculum with their students. The skills that are outlined here, I won't go through them all, but it really hones in on some of the skills that our students need, including obviously spreadsheet formulas, and really understanding how to manipulate them, website publishing, document formatting, internet research, data visualization, lots of things that we're wanting to embed for our students, but we often don't know how to create those experiences. And then through that, we're teaching them the things that we are ultimately wanting to accomplish in education, helping our students become more proficient at being creative and critical thinking and collaboration, and diving into those other things such as group decision-making and event planning. So there's a lot of different things for different students, and it's all built around G Suite. The curriculum is free and it's really flexible. So one of the things that I like to share is, just like any textbook or any curriculum out there, you can take it and use what you want to. You don't have to use every single component, just like any good curriculum, nor do you have to use it in exactly a particular sequence. It's designed to be flexible for teachers and plug and play. And each lesson does have teacher resources. There are customizable lesson plans, and there are rubrics which can be easily customized, not only for the teacher, but also utilized with students for self-reflection. So it's really a comprehensive resource, and it's being added to continually. So I look forward to the future and seeing what else Google for Education provides us on this. One thing to note is it is aligned with the ISTE standards, International Society for Technology and Education. It was reviewed by ISTE and is currently in use by more than 200,000 students. I'd also add that currently most of the units are aligned to 32 different states, and there are additional states coming, and all the additional units will be rounded out. So eventually you'll be able to filter and sort through all the different states and kind of see what best meets your needs or the needs of your students. An example is we have if-then adventure stories. This kind of highlights what it is. It's for where it's popular. And if you're ever familiar with hyperlinking in slides, this teaches students not only how to create slides, how to link to them, and how to collaborate on a cooperative story. Timeline breaks it out. It's about 2 to 3 hours for the lesson. And it's designed to be very independent for students, giving the teacher the capacity to be freed up to walk around the room and support the students as needed. Another example here is create a presentation all about a topic. It's very popular across lots of different things because as as we are often want to do in our classrooms, we're having students create a lot of presentations in order to share some of the things that they are learning. So this is a great topic to introduce, and it can be accomplished in 45 to 90 minutes, depending on whether you want to do it in one day or whether you want to stretch it out over a couple. And here's another example of creating an editing tool with programming. And this breaks down how do students create a doc looking for word frequency, finding words that might be used more than just a few times. So it's really an introduction to app scripting and helping them kind of bridge that connection between writing and coding. So what questions do we have for me today? Let me switch back here. I escape out of there. Are there any questions in our chat? Let me see. It's a good question. I have to go live. Bear with me here. Let me stop my screen sharing so that everyone doesn't have to watch me navigate. I think after doing this for several years with people, you'd be, just super comfortable with navigation, and it never gets incredibly easy. All right, just 1 second here. Pause that. All right. All right, so it looks like we're okay on questions right now. So what we'll do then is I'm going to pass the mic over to Natalia. And Natalia, why don't you tell us 2 fun facts about yourself?
All right, well, 2 fun facts. I think those that know me know that I love to salsa dance. And I've been known for teaching a couple of Google innovators in the Innovator Academies and Energizers some salsa lessons. So I guess that's a fun fact.
That's cool.
I love cooking too. So.
How long have you been salsa dancing? How many years?
Oh my gosh, quite a while. Both my parents were dancers, so it's kind of, it's been in the family for forever. And but myself, yeah, probably I would say the last 6 years. So
that's good. It's a good hobby.
Yeah, it is. Now I only see your logo. Do you want me to, are you
That's
seeing
okay. That's I hid my face.
Okay, good. Can everybody see me now, right?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. All right. So I actually wanted to share something with you when you were going through the explaining what the Applied Digital Skills curriculum was and going through the lessons and whatnot. One of the things that happened to me as an educator when I was introduced to this curriculum, I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. This is awesome. But I thought to myself, how can I help my English language learners, learn all these digital skills with these lessons that are already kind of pre-made for me and like ready to go. And at first I was a little taken. I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. But then when I actually dove it, like opened up the curriculum online and started looking at it, I was like, yes, this is something that it will help my students tremendously. And so I am really, really happy to share with all of you how I've used this curriculum with students, and I've shared this with teachers in my district and how they've used it. So you were talking about, you talked about 2 lessons that are really popular. And one of them is the All About Me, or the All About a Topic. And many times we do a lesson in the classroom called, All About Me. And you usually start the year with All About Me because you want to know your students and you want the other students to know the other students, right? But this particular lesson I like because if I jump, let me see. Now I'm going to try this, Chris. Let's see if this works. I'm going to see if I can present.
Bet you can do it better than I can.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Screen share. I'm going to share. Okay. I'm going to go to the curriculum. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, I can see.
Awesome. Perfect. So when you go to the website, to the Applied Digital Skills curriculum, you click on curriculum, and then you're going to see all of the different lessons. You can filter this by audience, right? And the one lesson we were talking about, and you gave some examples, is this one, create a presentation all about a topic. So when you jump on this, it gives you, the activities, You have on the left-hand side the approximate time to complete this lesson, the skills that are covered, and it also gives you lesson plans that you can just grab and go. I mean, this is fantastic for us teachers that don't have a lot of time. We can grab this and go, and it really is, you know, gives you a nice guidelines that you can use for your class, gives you materials, extension activities. I mean, it's really, really super complete. But then as I was looking, I was like, okay, how can I help my students, right? So when you click on this, you will see, and this is like the most amazing thing, because you'll have some videos that explain every single step of the unit. Not only that, you have this visual here that our students can pick up on body language, facial expressions to convey meaning, but you can also change the playback speed. So I can make it a little slower or go back to normal or even fast. Now, that is a huge help for students. There's also transcript. You want to see everything that is being said. And there's also these 3 little dots here. You can turn captioning on and off. Now, those 3 things right there, those are huge scaffolds for ELLs, for students that are learning the English language. Mm-hmm. So that just right from the get-go, you're like, okay, I think my students can do this. And then when I go back to the curriculum, I see that there's different activities, right? They tell them what activities they need to do, and there over here some instructions. Students will have to sign in to track their progress, and they will go through the different videos to see the different activities. And it explains everything, even from screencasts. So whatever they have to do to create this presentation, they're going to be seeing a video that explains everything. One cool thing that I noticed is students will create a Google Slides presentation. And I don't know if you knew, but on here under the speaker notes, the microphone is enabled. So if we want to have our students practice their speech when they're going to talk about this presentation, this topic, we can do this. And this, again, is another way to support our students because we will give them practice to pronounce their English language and to practice the cadences of the English language, which sometimes we don't give them enough practice for this. And I'm not sure if I can demo this. Let's see.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. I'm going to create a slides here. So students will be creating a Google Slides presentation for this particular unit, but right here where you see click for speaker notes, you can click there. And then, where is it? Where am I? Tools, there we go. Under tools, we can click voice type speaker notes. We're going to allow the mic. I think I'm ready.
Oh, perfect.
Exactly. As you see, it types what I said. So it helps students learn to pronounce and articulate the sounds of the English language, because obviously the software has to pick it up, right? And it has to type it properly. And if they are mispronouncing words, they will see those words typed there. So they will be able to have some self-reflection and self-correction. And I think that's super valuable. And you can do that also with Google Docs, which is really, really cool. Let's go back to that. Sorry, where am I? Here we go. So I'm going to go back to the curriculum. And then another thing that you mentioned, not only for the All About a Topic lesson, you also talked about the if-then adventure stories. Mm-hmm. So this lesson too is really, really nice because Actually, for a language learner, the concept of if-then right from the get-go might be a difficult concept for them to learn. So having an activity like this makes it a little more tangible, more concrete. And I suggest talking about what is it that, like, bringing some of the, remember those books from the 90s, like Choose Your Own Adventure type of thing? Okay, so kind of bringing that to the classroom and discussing this with the students first gives them and helps them create some background knowledge. I'm sure that all the ELL teachers listening to this know that one of the things that you want to make sure that you do is help activate and build that background knowledge so that whatever you're putting out there turns into comprehensible input for the students. So bringing some actual materials for the class would help to for the students to understand this concept. And again, all of the scaffolds that I mentioned on earlier are present in all of the units, which is really, really cool.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and see if we have any questions.
Let's see. Let's see. Clarissa says she didn't know you could use voice typing in slides. Only in the speaker notes, or is it also across the rest of slides?
For slides, it's only under speaker notes, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to test it right now because when I did it, it only did the speaker notes. Yep, it only does speaker notes. I'm testing. Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. But at least it's something that, you know, this is another skill that we, as an ESL teacher, I used to work a lot with my students, is the public speaking, right? The standing in front of a room and talking. And having this tool here under the speaker notes actually helps the students build that confidence. One of the strategies that a lot of teachers may not know of is something called rehearse reading. And when the students practice and rehearse what they're going to say, it gives them a little bit more confidence, and then they're able to, you know, to speak in public better. So,
you know, it's the strategy that you mentioned about bringing in example books for students of choose your own adventure stories. It's a great one because it's true. Sometimes we don't always give enough prior knowledge, or we assume prior knowledge, and based on our own experience, and they definitely may not have experienced those. I often ask when I'm talking about this, does anyone remember Choose Your Own Adventures? And like half the room remembers them and half the room doesn't. So then I have to explain it. So yeah, I think that's a great idea to bring in those books, and you can probably find them at libraries all over the place.
Exactly. You know, another thing that helps with ELLs is activating prior and new vocabulary. So I like to use words that, for example, for the particular if and then lesson, a lot of our students may know certain vocabulary words, but may lack on certain content words. And for example, they may know, you know, when we ask them to list characters, they may be able to list characters, examples of characters or examples of settings, right? But they may not know linking words like then, after that, afterwards, because of those linking words. When they're building their story, we might want to present those in advance for them and scaffold that story writing in that way. So that's another idea that I suggested for this lesson, is to give them a little more support with connecting words when they're writing their stories.
Excellent, excellent. Anything else you'd like to share about some of the applied digital skills curriculum?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I like the best about this curriculum is that English language learners need to be exposed to everyday activities. They need to know how to use the language to, you know, resolve everyday activities, things that happen in real life. And this curriculum is based on things that are true to real life, right? Things that they're actually going to do, things that they may already do. So for example, there is a lesson for planning an event. Everyone plans an event. Everyone plans something, even if it's a get-together. So having those skills and using the language to communicate and build not only the digital skills, but also building at the same time the English language proficiency, I think is great. Because again, they're doing this based on something that they do every day. It's a real life situation. So it's very different from, here's a textbook, we're going to read this story about something that you may not relate to. But instead, I'm going to give you this super cool curriculum, this idea that you're going to plan an event together, something that they see themselves doing because they see their peers doing it all the time. So I think that's huge. It's a huge value for our English language learners.
Yeah, I think that's, you hit on a really, really good point. These are authentic activities, especially when you have students actually doing it for a real purpose. One of the things I advocate for is, don't just plan an event in isolation, actually do it. Plan something around schools, give students the opportunity to solve an authentic problem, plan an authentic event, and let them have ownership over it. Because again,
yes,
they're going to be much more engaged in that process. And then
absolutely. Like when I had my class, there was a hurricane that actually a tornado that struck Henryville in Indiana, and I wanted to do some service learning. And if I had this curriculum back then, I would have probably used this to teach them all of the digital skills that I try to teach, to recreate really, and essentially was planning an event to gather funds to be able to send to this school. We contacted a school that got completely wiped by the tornado, and they had no building, literally. So our students they contacted the school and they asked the principal, what is your biggest need now? And the principal said, well, right now I have no communication at all between classrooms and myself. So I don't know what's going on in each classroom. So a good set of walkie-talkies and radios would be really, really handy. So our students planned an event and we did a fundraiser racing activity in the school, and we invited the school community to come. We had some games and things, and we gathered some money, and we were able to send about $900 to the school so they could purchase their radios. So when you provide students with authentic activities like this, the learning is real and it stays. It's not something that they learn and they forget. So I think using this curriculum, it's going to give you the opportunities to have those experiences in the classroom.
That's fantastic. Well, I appreciate your insight into this. What I'd love to now share out is a couple of things on getting started, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So for those that are watching now or might be watching later, we have some resources. Let me see if I can share my screen again. Does anyone have any, before I move on, Clarissa, do you have any questions? We have Clarissa in the chat who's been chatting with us. Do you have any questions for Natalia about how you might implement this into your classroom or anything along those lines? And let me share my screen. All right. There we go. Perfect. Now I'm actually sharing it correctly. Okay, perfect. All right, well, we'll just go ahead and move on. One of the things that I wanted to kind of share is that Google and the Applied Digital Skills team have really put together a nice set of back-to-school resources to get started using Google's Applied Digital Skills. So if you go to the URL that's listed there, that's edtech.team/digital skills, that'll actually take you directly to Google's Applied Digital Skills curriculum. And on the front page, there is a link. And let me show you that link right now. So if you go into the link on the home page, there's an entire kit of resources here, including a printable packet, which is a quick start guide. It's got some starter lessons and a handout. We've got all of these things kind of combined into one nice place in Google Docs. There's a curriculum overview for parents and colleagues and administrators, and then classroom posters and things that can be printed out. So there's some great resources there, along with some examples of finished student projects, which is always nice to see that, what the potential outcome may be. Another thing to highlight, and I think I mentioned it earlier, is that at each lesson you have, I view it as a teacher, I see lesson plans. So you don't have to know every single thing before you go into it. But this gives you a good overview of the learning objectives that students will be interacting with, or what the outcomes would be, what is required. And typically you're going to need a computer with internet access per student, or student pair, depending on what your access level is. They can work side by side together. Headphones for the students to wear, because it can get a little noisy if every student is listening to video at the same time. And they need a G Suite account in order to log in and join your class. And when they do join your class, the progress is tracked, so you can see exactly where students are at any given time. And in addition to the lesson plans, there are rubrics. And the rubrics are great because they are customizable, as I mentioned previously. And here's an example of the If Then Adventure Stories rubric, along with links to exemplary projects and a link to a beginning project. And what's nice about this is if you're using Google Classroom, you have some options. You could send each student a copy of this rubric and have them self-reflect how they did on each level of performance. So there's opportunities for a lot of self-reflection built into this curriculum as well, which is really nice. So you're not having to start from ground zero or the beginning and create everything yourself. You can take it and move forward.
Chris, if I may add, if you go back to the rubric, towards the bottom of the rubric, there are some blank student outcomes, and you can add your own category there.
Yep.
So for those of the ELL teachers that want to also, work on speaking, listening, writing, and reading, you can also add those in there.
That's a great idea. Yeah, thanks for reminding me. And then again, there's also instructions on using the rubric, making a copy for yourself, and then sharing it with students, or just using it as a guide for helping assess how they are doing. The other thing I would share is, it's easy to get started. So if you sign in as an instructor, go to g.co/applied digital skills. It's pretty straightforward. You set up a class, review some of the lesson plans, and share a class code. A really good starting point is the one that we showed, which is the If Then Adventure Stories, or the All About Me topic. Either one is a really good introductory, and it's very flexible for different content areas. Today we're talking about second language learners, but if you're a math teacher, you're a science teacher, an English teacher, there are lots of different ways that you can utilize that. And you can actually learn more about ways to, if you will, remix this curriculum in your own classroom. If you come to the URL that's listed right there, edtech.team/AppSki webinar. And what that will allow you to do, let me make sure that's projecting on the screen. There we go. You see that? Let's see. Didn't look like it was pinned. There we go. So if you look at that, there we go. Sign up for the 5-day email courses at edtech.team/AppSki webinar. That'll actually allow you to get a 5-day email course, just a quick email received each day on how to integrate it into very specific content areas. Right now we have math, English, science, and ELL. The ELL course is there, so you can sign up for that. Show you that on the next page. And we also have upper elementary coming and history. So just different examples of how teachers are remixing the curriculum a little bit to make it better fit the needs of a classroom or for their specific content area. So we encourage you to check that out. And Clarissa, I see your question there. I will get to your question in just a moment. So I'll make sure to answer that before we leave. The other thing to look at, here we go. Customizing applied digital skills lessons for English language learners. Natalia has written a 5-day course, 5 days, meaning you're only getting 5 emails. 5 emails direct to your inbox. It's obvious, it's free, and it's strategies for getting started along with some templates. So there's a lot of really great ways in order to make this a great resource for your classroom. And Natalia has worked with us to put together that mini email course. So we encourage you to visit the URL listed there and also in the slide deck. And you can sign up quick and easy, and it'll get started tomorrow. You'll send you your first day to your inbox. So, and it's forwardable. You could share it with others. So Clarissa had asked a question about certification for students. Do we know whether they're thinking of adding that to follow up to this curriculum? It's a really good question, and I can't speak on behalf of Google because I don't know. There's been a lot of discussion throughout the years about student certification, and I think it hasn't just gotten there yet. There's a lot of great examples of people doing different things out there, but nothing that's been officially sponsored by Google. I'd say this is probably the closest, and if they do get to a place for certification, I can see it easily correlating to this curriculum. So I wish I could answer that question, outright for you, but unfortunately I can't. And I don't want to speak on behalf of Google because I just don't know. Even though we're partners, we don't have timelines. We don't have any of those things sometimes. So with that, if you would, we have an free online course that we'll be offering from EdTechTeam online. We have flexible online courses that teachers can take. Work at your own pace. Typically, it's a 15-hour course. This is one, if you enter, it's free. So go ahead and if you link to the form that is there, be able to enter to win. And if not, no big deal. There we go. Oops. Please stop my screen sharing. So with that, anything else you'd like to add, Natalia?
No, I think we've covered pretty much what we wanted to share. I mean, what I would like to say is just encourage teachers to really look at this, because I think we will be doing a disservice if we don't look at, teaching not only what we need to teach, but also the digital skills that sometimes have forgotten. So, and we know that they're going to need them for their future
absolutely
career life. So.
Well, so what we'll do is after this webinar is over, we'll add the link to the slide deck that is there, and we'll promote that out there. Anybody who signed up for this and couldn't make it today will receive an email with that. I appreciate everyone who showed up today, and for those of you that may watch later, we encourage you to check out Google's Applied Digital Skills resources. Great curriculum. It is continuously being added to, and we encourage you to check it out. Giving students an opportunity to work on projects in an authentic way. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining me, Natalia. I appreciate your time and your expertise. And for that, we're going to sign off. But thank you for everyone. I hope your school year is off to a great start. I know it's only the end of August. A lot of people have been in school for several weeks now, and some have yet to start. My boys just started this week, and I know there's a bunch of schools that go back next week.
Yes, like mine.
Like yours after the holiday. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you everyone. And have yourself a great rest of the week and enjoy the holiday weekend coming up here in the United States.
Thank you.
Best. Bye. Have a good one.